Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a bit of a different video for you guys. I'm going to be showing you guys how to create some pro designs. So as you can see, I've got some examples of some clothing that I've made here, and I'm going to show you guys how I made some of this. So I'm going to start with telling you how to access the pro designs and things like that. So I'll put a time down on the screen just now, so that if you want to skip ahead to me creating them, you can do so. And if you're new and you want the full kind of tutorial, then stick around. Okay, so to make custom designs, you'll need the app on your Nook phone. So this is the app here, and you get this at the start of the game. Okay, so you just select the custom designs app, and then from here you can create your own designs. So you just press A and then change design. Or if you want to kind of copy something over, like I did with some of these, you just press Y, copy, and then you can just paste down here and then just delete what was underneath. So here's some of what I've created so far for custom designs, and I will show you guys how I created some of these, starting with how to create your own version of a big path like this. So for the pro designs, you actually have to go to the Nook stop in the resident services and spend 800 Nook miles to get the pro design upgrade. So it's definitely worth it, and it doesn't cost that much once you start actually getting a good amount of Nook miles in, and that will automatically download to your phone. So thankfully we now have the update so that you can even upload your designs from here and access the custom design portal just from your phone. Or you can go into the Able Sisters and use the board in there at the back. Okay, so to start with a pro design, you just kind of go into the custom design app, press the right bumper, and then just choose a spot to work on it. So as you can see, here are some of the pro designs I've created, and again I'll show you guys how I created some of these so you can be well on the way to creating your own awesome designs. Okay, so I'm just gonna talk through the tools with you guys before we actually get into the designs. So this is what you get when you start up. So as you can see, I just picked this design, I mean this kind of template, and then you have your palette up at the top, and then you have your tools to the left, and you have your preview over here. And as it shows you with all the buttons, you can see that you move the right analog to move that around, and if you press it in, it'll give you a different view of the piece of clothing that you're designing. So if you press X, you can then access the tools. So you can come here to change the palette, and this is what the palettes look like. And then if you choose a palette and you're happy with it, you can then change each individual color from here. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll set all of these to white and then add a color as I need it. Down here you have the pen, and then once you press A, you can press Y to cycle through the sizes. So that's what that looks like. And then you have a line tool here. This one's quite useful because you just press A, drag it across the screen, and as you can see, you can move it to create these diagonal lines. So that can be really, really useful if you're struggling with creating lines that kind of look good. And then you just press A to set the bottom of the line. And then we've got a rectangle tool, and again you just press A, drag it out to the size that you want it, and press A again. The same is with the circle tool. This one's quite useful because it can be quite tricky getting circles sometimes, so you just drag that out, and as you can see on the preview, you can kind of work out what looks best, and then you can alter it once you've placed it as you need. And then self-explanatory, we have a fill tool here. Then this is a round stamp, and this comes in 3 sizes, so you have the small one, the medium one, and the big one, which is really quite large. And then again we have that as the star stamp and the heart stamp as well, and then this is fill all, so even if you've got lines, it'll just fill everything. And then if we just press minus so you can see the next thing, you can press the minus button to undo your last action, but it doesn't build up a queue or anything, so you can only undo one action. So down here you have a drag design tool, so you just drag, once you press the drag design, you just move your left analog stick to move around the screen, and this will move your design. You cannot pick specific things of your design to move, it just moves the entire design, but this is still really quite useful, especially if you're just starting out with trying to center one thing and then work from there. That can be quite useful. And then here we have swap or copy, and then you can press Y and you can copy, flip and copy, or swap, and you can move between all the pieces here. So the copy is really useful for the sleeves, and also if you've got like a dress, just to copy it to the back and then fill in the objects that you don't want to be there. And then here we have mirror mode, so you can press it there, or you can also press the right trigger, and that will also toggle that on and off. So there's an overview. Oh, also if you press the left and right bumpers in at the same time, if we just go on to the pen tool, if you press the left and right at the same time, that is the eyedropper tool, and that will move that like that. And if you are on the pen tool or any other tool where it's drawing, if you press the left and right bumpers, that will cycle through the colors. And then here you can see with the colors you get to alter the hue, the vividness, and the brightness of the color, and that is pretty good, although sometimes I find it quite difficult to get some of the yellow tones that I want. But other than that, I think the color choice is pretty good. But yeah, as you can see, it kind of goes really bright, and then here it just immediately starts going a bit more orangey, I guess. But yeah, so there is a rundown of how to create the pro designs. So now we will get on to some actual designing. Okay, so we're going to start off with some of the mush items that I've made here. So I will show you guys how you can create these yourself, and then hopefully you can use that to make your own awesome designs. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with something quite simple. I'm going to make the clothing that my little character in my profile picture wears. So it's sort of like a sort of dark red cardigan, a yellow skirt, and kind of a pale blouse with two little mushrooms on the collar. So I'm just going to start by taking in the pen tool in the red shade and mapping out kind of an outline for the design. So I'm trying to I get a bit better at making collars, but for my first few designs it was kind of like hit and miss about where things were going to be. So it's really important to rely on the preview to the left, I find, especially for when you're trying to create curves, because sometimes you'll do one curve in a color and it'll work fine, and then other times it'll come off really blocky and you actually need to change the shade a little for it to kind of curve. You might see this in some of my other designs, maybe not here because this one's quite simple, but when you've got a lot of kind of similar colors, sometimes it can get a bit kind of tricky. So as you can see, I'm just kind of very messily filling in over here, and I'm just gonna kind of get all this blocked in. So the way that I work is I'll block out areas and then I'll go in and add details as I need. As you can see, I'm not quite used to all the tools and everything yet, so it's taking me a little while to get used to things, but it really didn't take me long until I was feeling really quite confident with making custom and pro designs. So hopefully through these tutorials you guys will feel the same way. I know that on my last island I found it really daunting, the idea of making pro designs and things like that, but now I find it so simple and it's so easy, and the biggest problem I have now is finding more inspiration and ideas for more designs. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of blocking in now the skirt, and I'm now actually using the mirroring properly, and I've chosen this sort of like mustard yellow sort of colour. So I did say this design was super simple, but I did find that starting off with really simple designs and then building up was definitely quite good for me, but obviously it'll just depend on how confident you feel going into making designs in the first place. So again, I'm just filling in this area with this sort of cream colour for the blouse. And yeah, so this is kind of, see, it took no time at all, and we've now got all the colours blocked out for the outfit, and we can go in and start adding in other little bits of detail and things like that. I am aware that I just accidentally changed my colour palette. Don't worry, I do fix it in a little bit. There we go, clearly I just noticed. Now try and find the colour palette that I was on, and now we can change from the purple colour. And I'm just going to use the sort of tan colour, and I'm just going to block in the collar with that. So I'm just going to create kind of a couple of little buttons at the top of the collar. So as you can see, I've kind of got the shape of the collar, and that looks like it fits it quite nicely. So I'm just going to use this brown, and then I'm going to go in and add the little mushrooms on either side of the collar. And I'm just doing little basic red and white mushrooms. And as you can see on the preview, it looks super adorable. I'm really happy with it, and you can just kind of play around with it and kind of see what works in each design. And for example, you get a lot more pixels with like the face standee, so when you're doing designs with that, you can quite often add a lot more in because there's a lot more pixels because it's such a bigger item. But obviously for the pro design, sometimes it can be really difficult to add the level of detail that you want because there just aren't enough pixels to get the design across. Although people definitely still manage to make amazing pro designs. I would say I feel a bit more confident making kind of custom designs or standee designs. I don't feel like I have the fashion knowledge and skills for pro designs yet, but I'm trying my best, and I'm kind of just making designs that I think will suit my island. I saw, before I gave a villager to my friend the other day, she was wearing this design that I had made because she'd bought it in my Able Sisters, and it was so cute to see a villager in a design that I'd made. That made me super happy. So as you can see, I'm just moving on to the back now, and I'm just going to kind of block in these colours. So as you can see, the back of the outfit was super simple, so we can quickly move on to the sleeves. I don't know why I'm not using the fill tool. I seem to be obsessed with just using the pen tool for my first design. And then instead of copying the design, I just painted it again. But you guys don't need to do that because you know that you can just copy it over. And for some reason, I just forgot when I was making it. I'm just adding in a little trim around the bottom of the sleeves as well, just to kind of break up the design a little bit because it was looking a bit too basic. And now I'm just going to go onto the back and just add in a little bit more detail. So I'm just going to carry the collar around to the back. So I'm just trying to match it up by looking at the preview and then adding in the pixels, and then I realized I'd done it in the wrong color, so I just fixed that. And the mirroring tool is really, really useful for when you're doing things like collars and stuff like that, so you can make sure that it's totally even. So once I was kind of happy with how that looked, I was just kind of double checking the design and seeing if there was anything else that needed done. I tried to add in a little pocket on the side, and so I was just trying to find a colour that would work for that. So I tried to choose the same colour as the collar, and I just put that on, and it was just a couple of little pixels, and I thought that looked quite nice. So yeah, that's my little design. So it matches my little profile picture and things like that. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea about how easy it is to create something that still looks quite cute, although I am aware it's super simple. So there you go, that's me wearing it so you can see it. I'll just take off the rest of the items that I'm wearing so you can see it properly. And yeah, so we'll move on to the next design, and here again I just chose a palette and then adjusted some of the colours for what I would use. So I'm just choosing some kind of, I wanted quite dark kind of greens and some dark reds, and this is the mush designs that I was making. So I'm going to start with this collared shirt, and I'm just going to add in a sort of cardigan with some green. So I'm just filling in this area. Again, totally refusing to use the fill tool, but I do find it quite satisfying to do it by hand as well, which I think is why I do it most of the time. So once I had the green down, I just wanted to add in the collar so I could get that out the way, and to make sure I didn't add any designs that I was going to then write over with the collar. So yeah, once I had the collar mapped out, again you can see I'm a bit better at doing it this time. I then chose some more colours that I was going to use. I knew I wasn't going to use any blue shades, so I was writing over these with sort of orangey, tan and yellow colours that I was going to need, and added in a couple of warmer browns as well. So then I'm just going to add in some kind of colouring for the middle bit. So I chose the sort of like muted kind of yellow colour. I'm not really sure what shade you'd call that, maybe like faded lemon? And then I'm just going to add in a bit of brown to give it a bit of depth, because one thing I find with the pro designs is sometimes they can look a little bit flat, so sometimes you need to like add in kind of your own kind of shading for things. And then I decided to go over and kind of try and change the colouring of that, because I wasn't too keen on the yellow, so I changed the design to make it more green. So this is the fun with the pro designs and the fill tool, is you can change your designs so easily, especially with being able to change the color in the top, because you can like be like, oh, I wish I'd done this all in blue rather than in pink, and you can just change the colors that you've used and it'll change them on the screen, which is great and super useful. So I'm just going to try and add in some buttons and work out the kind of placement that I want these. So as you can see, it takes a little bit of time to work out kind of what works for designs and what trim, what kind of, how many blocks on each item the trim is, but I certainly found that it didn't take long before I was picking that up really quickly, so hopefully you guys do too. So as you can see here, I'm just trying to work out the curve of the trim on the bottom, and now I'm just going to take mirroring off while I work on some mushrooms, because I don't want this to be symmetrical. So as you can see, it's super simple to create these little mushrooms, and you just choose colors that you like, and you can kind of do like almost any shape, and it's so simple to just go back over your design or change the colors. So really recommend making your own pro designs a go, and if not, then there are a million creators out there with amazing designs for you to have. I will have my creator code in the description if you want to download or take a look at any of my designs, or you're free to download them if you'd like to have another look at them up close. But I hope this video is helpful and kind of explains properly what I'm doing. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of experimenting with shapes and different kind of little kind of drawings and things that I can add into this to make it kind of a more interesting design. I tried to add in some little leaves and things like that, and I just wanted it to look quite sort of goblin core, I guess. I tried to add in some mushrooms that were a bit more diagonal as well to kind of break up the design. And as you can see here, I'm just using sort of various shades of green, brown, and then a few kind of highlights of red to kind of break it up and make the design a little bit more eye-catching. One struggle I did have was with working this small. Sometimes putting like the little white dots on the mushrooms can be quite difficult to get it to look good. But if you don't do them too small, it's not too bad. And then I'm just adding in some little dots of green and things like that, because it just makes it look a little bit less flat. And also I wanted it to look like there were loads of little leaves or anything like that around, so I thought it went quite well with the design and it looked quite cute. So I'm just going to fill in the sleeve with this colour, and then I'm just going to add in a trim with the same colour as the collar, so it's sort of like a very pale cream. And then I'm just going to try and add in some little stripes in a bright white, and then I'm just going to work on a couple of little mushrooms to go on the sleeves as well. And again, I'm just trying to add some little sort of leaf kind of designs and things like that. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to add a design that kind of goes vertically, but again, if you just kind of keep looking at the preview, then you get a really good idea. So I'm just trying to add in some kind of mushroom variants here. Again, just keeping with the same sort of color scheme of like these muted colors of reds, browns, and yellows. If you guys have any suggestions, ideas, or requests on things that you would like to see how to make, such as little flowers or a certain type of path, then let me know in the comments and hopefully I can make them for you guys and do a tutorial on that. I'm going to show you guys how to make a water path, but I'm not going to show you any other ways of making a version of the path because I don't need any more for my island, and I think that the water one will the water tutorial will be enough to show you guys how to create your version of that no matter what you do. Okay, so now we are going to make a Kiki dress. So the villager Kiki, not the Studio Ghibli Kiki. So I'm just going to start by mapping out the sort of cat face that I want and the kind of outline for that. So as you can see, I've chosen a dark color palette. I think it's the same that we used the last time. And I'm just mapping out the kind of design. I'm trying to keep it quite true to Kiki, so I know that obviously the Animal Crossing cats have really quite large ears, so I'm trying to keep the ears large. And I opened a picture up of Kiki on my phone and had that next to me while I created the design. I didn't just use my memory or anything. Always try and have reference when you're doing anything. So if you want to choose like a real life dress to try and make, or have a villager open, or even just a picture, or even just like a sticker that you want to copy, I think it's really important to try and use reference, take inspiration, and as long as you're not downright copying someone, then just have fun and try and create designs that you like. So I want to try and create like a villager range of clothing, so I am starting with this sort of Kiki dungaree dress sort of design that's quite kidcore, and I might add in some stripes as well. So as you can see, I'm just trying to work on Kiki's eyes at the moment, and obviously she's got quite large yellow circular eyes. I didn't actually mean to close the design there, so we're just going to jump right back in. So I'm just trying to work out what looks good, and then she's got a little sort of triangular nose and this red mouth. The mouth was kind of a bit of a struggle, but it looked okay in the end. So yeah, there's the basic shape. See, it's really quite simple, and then I'm just gonna move it around a little bit. See, like this is when it's really useful to use the drag tool, and again I'm just gonna add in a little bit of shading around the pattern to make it stand out a little bit more. I tried to add in whiskers, but because the design space was quite small that I was working on, I didn't have space to make them look the way I wanted. So I gave up and just quickly filled the sleeves in the blue that I had used the last time, and copied that over to the other sleeve. And then I'm just going to work on the back of the dress. So I'm just going to fill that in and follow the lines in the preview to make sure that it matches up. Add in the line of shading, and then add in the two straps to make sure that they link up as well. And then again, I'm just going to add in the little bit of shading around that. And yeah, so I was really happy with how this is looking. And I went to add in a little pocket as well. I always loved having a little pocket on like dungarees or dungaree dresses when I was a kid. So I definitely wanted to add in one of them. So I was kind of just mapping out the shape and then filling it in. I decided that the pink was way too bright, so I went with blue instead, and then I just added in a line of black around that to make that stand out. And yeah, so here I'm just going to add in a little trim on the sleeves as well to make them match up with the rest of the design. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of shading on her nose. I tried it on the eyes, but there wasn't enough space to make it look good. So I just added in a little bit of shading around her ears. And we'll try it on, and there we go. We have a little Kiki dress. So I'm really pleased with how that came out. And there we are. So I will now show you guys how you can upload your designs. So what you can do is you can either go into the Able Sisters store and upload on the custom design portal at the back, or you can go through your phone, go into custom designs, press X, say you want to access the portal, it connects to the internet. You do need Nintendo Online to upload your designs or download any from other people. You do not need Nintendo Online to make your designs, so hopefully anyone without Nintendo Online that is struggling with being able to not get custom codes can hopefully follow some of these tutorials so you can make your own beautiful designs. So once you're in the custom design portal, you just go to Post, and then it will show you all of your designs, and if they are already uploaded, they will come up with this red cross through them. Once you edit a design, so let's say for example I had edited this once I'd already uploaded it, I get the chance to re-upload it, and it will upload it as a second design. So one thing you can do is, if you just want to make a million custom designs, even if you're not going to use them, you can make them, upload them, and then write over the slot in your custom designs and re-upload that, and they will upload as separate designs, even if they have the exact same name and are still in the same spot. So again, same with Pro Design. So as you can see, I've got one that I haven't uploaded here, so I can just go to Post, and then it gives you the option to share it on social media if you have that linked on your Switch or not. So I'm going to press no, and then it gives you the option to go back to the menu or post another design. And then here you can also see all the designs that you've posted, and it will look like you are looking at any other creator. So as you can see, here are all of my codes. Here is my creator code down at the bottom. And then you press right bumper and you can see the person's pro designs. So these are all of mine. So yes, I hope you guys learned something from this, or at least found it entertaining or helpful in some way. And I hope that you are well on your way to creating awesome pro designs that you can impress all of your Animal Crossing friends with. I'd love to see anything you created, and if you download any of my designs, I would love to see them on your island, so please tweet them to me. My socials are also in the description. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, bye!